That is such a tough act to follow. Oh my Lord. Good morning. Welcome to the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. Hello to our Zooming population out there. As a brief aside, if you have not...
President!
And my first act as president will be to declare peace worldwide.
Well, somebody will protest that.
If you haven't had a chance, last night I took some time. I post our videos. I'm the one who uploads them to YouTube. And I decided to actually look at one last night because I see them so often. If you haven't had a chance, go to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, and take a look at some of our videos. They're delightful, and they look like every small town church or center across the country, and I absolutely love it. It's got such a homey feel to it. Plus, you get to see things you don't normally see when you're here. So, as we move forward with our announcements for today, we'll start with our acknowledgement of the lands on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. So let's see if I can make our slides work. Probably first step is to turn this on. That seems to help. And it works. Yay us. Okay, together and in watching the video last night, when we do our opening affirmation, a lot of times when we say things that we say by route almost, or by rote, whatever the term is, that we say regularly, we don't pay attention to them. But I actually stopped and looked at this, and today as we say it, feel what we're saying, because it's really a wonderful affirmation. And I think I'll speak for me, I just say it, and I don't realize how powerful it is. So together we will say the top part and the bottom part. We will look at somebody else and specifically say that. So together, we are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. And turn to somebody else and say, I honor the path that brought you here today. I mean, you just got to love that. We are welcoming. The vibration of love is here. The wisdom of the ages is here, and we are empowered. How could it be anything better than that? The directory is on screen. If you'd like to know what's coming, the weekly schedule is on screen. The directory is what I'm about to speak of. On the table over there is a directory. Burl has been putting this together, thank you, Burl, and has printed out the names and contact information and assorted other important information about everybody who we believe is a member and who is here. Please take a look at it. Make any corrections. If you don't wish to be in the directory, there's a column on the far right side, and you can check that you do not wish to be in the directory. Antisocial, if you are, that's up to you.
No judgment.
No guilt implied. But anyway, check that out before you leave today. We have got a healing service that is coming up, and I have been asked to bring up live and direct from the beauty of Bali all the way here to Eureka for this special occasion. Let's welcome Karen. Come on up, Karen.
Yep, I did just get back, so I'm still a little bit on island time, but we are planning on having the healing service this week. It is going to be in person. I have a couple of details to work out first, so please give me a shout. You can get my contact information on the lovely sheet over here. You can call me or email me. Let me know if you plan on coming so I can make sure that you get all of the details, and look forward to seeing you there. Question?
Yeah, as far as checking your name and address, if you have checked it and everything's okay, put a little check by your name, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
And there's a column that says okay. That's a good hint.
I'm hoping we will get to see, I know we're planning a slideshow for Scotland. I hope we'll get to see a slideshow for Bali. Those photographs were just amazing. Actually, it looked like my backyard. I wasn't that impressed. And then I wake up and then it doesn't look that way anymore. Highway cleanup will be this coming, what would that be, the 8th? That's Saturday, I believe. Max, where are you? Did you wish to say anything about this?
I don't know. I guess should I come up Saturday?
Sure, of course.
Well, good morning. Saturday, our highway cleanup will happen, and we'll meet at the Hole in the Wall at beautiful downtown Arcata at 9 o'clock, and I think it's 6th and G, but it's on the internet. And does anybody have any questions? Okay. And if you'd like to volunteer, you're totally welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Max, how long have you been leading our highway cleanup?
Not very long, ever had it.
Oh, that's right. How long have we been doing it? It's been years and years, hasn't it? 20 years?
As long as Donna and Brian,
Okay. Wow.
30 years.
You'd think at this point we'd have it clean. Let's see here. Next up, Rick, did you wish to come and tell us about being trapped on a desert island?
Something else.
Okay.
I have something.
Oh, yes. Okay.
On the same day as,
You have
if you're going in order,
What?
if you're going in order,
There was a slide.
July 8th, me.
Yeah, okay. I believe you, and I'm sure everybody else does. They just don't see it here. So it apparently got omitted. So did you wish to say something? Speaking of looking like every small-town community church, here we go.
So if you're not doing the highway cleanup, I am doing an art class, and I'm calling it Namely Scribble. Some of you have probably taken my scribbling class before. If you have, it's just another little twist. If you have not, if you can make dots, lines, stripes, circles, you can join. If you have taken a class with me before, I probably have your information because I need to send you a supply list. If you have not, I guess you sign up on that list, or you call, or you email me. What is that list?
The directory.
Oh, it's just a directory.
That's all
Oh,
it
okay,
is.
all right. Well, you can get my information off of the directory. Let me know, and I will send you a supply. It's a Zoom class. And if you haven't taken it before, you know it's love offering for the payment. So anyway, I'd love for you to join me. Thank you.
They're always fun.
Rick, the platform is yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A priest, a rabbi, and an evangelical minister were talking about how they handle their tithes and offerings. And the priest said, well, I draw a line in the middle of the room and I throw all the money in the air, and what comes on one side is all for God and what comes on the other side is for me. And the rabbi said, well, I do something similar. I draw a Star of David on the floor, and I throw all the money in the air, and everything that lands within the star is for God, and everything that's outside is for me. And the evangelical minister says, well, I do something like that. I throw all the money in the air, and whatever God catches, he can keep. We teach cause and effect. It's very scientific. And my father was a scientist, and I'm not a scientist. And he had 6 kids, and he just prayed that one of them would turn out to be a scientist. And my younger sister, Mo, the 5th one, finally did. And she worked for IBM for her entire career, and now she's retired and smart as a whip. But I just couldn't grasp. He was a chemistry teacher, and there were all these things that he would try to teach me, and it was just like, ah. But he signed me up for something called Science Kit of the Month. So every month a science kit would arrive. And it was his way of trying to teach me scientific principles and have some fun with it. And I'm like, ah. But there was one that I just loved, and I never forgot it. And it was a electromagnet. And it was a little spool, and I had to build these things. So you coil it with this wire, and then you attach one end to a 9-volt battery, and you put a coin on top of it, and there's a little rod in the center of this thimble, and then when you touch the other end to the 9-volt battery, the electricity runs through the little thimble, and it pulls the little shaft in there up, and it hits the coin, and it flips the coin. And I went, a coin flipper, how cool is that? And he went, well, it's not really a coin flipper, and I was like, yeah, it's a coin flipper. And so all I cared about was the effect. I didn't care about how the electricity worked. I don't know how it works. And so many things in our life are like that. If you had to know how your car worked and be able to explain it, you wouldn't be able to. Einstein once said there were maybe 5 people on the planet that understood the law, his relativity law. So it's similar with tithing. We're using a principle that's invisible, and I can't think of any scientific principle that isn't visible. Gravity, you can't see gravity. How do you know it works? Because you see the effect of it. So what I hope to pass on in this little short workshop is how the principle of tithing works, because it works when you work it and understand why it works. And we hope to have a lot of fun, and I think we will. And everybody that attends will get this booklet. And it's a $10 donation. That includes the booklet. And I hope to see you there. It's July 15th, coming up in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I'm hoping we can delay the class simply so we can call Rick up every week and hear bad jokes. I'm sorry, if it isn't obvious, I am a connoisseur of bad jokes. So most of mine are. Let's see, what do we have next? I actually love the jokes. They're fantastic. Okay, we are looking for media people. We have got 2 media people, my wife and myself, who are starting work on Facebook and Instagram accounts, but we need other people to help with special projects because Angelica cannot do everything. If you would like to be involved and help get the word out, please see Angelica. We could use your help. SOAR at Asilomar, which is just great fun to say, is taking place mid-August. If you would like to know more about it, check out the newsletter. It is the annual convention, if you will, for the Science of Mind folk. Bookstore. No longer have $1 off on prosperity books. You blew your chance. 20% off on any books by Joel Goldsmith. They are right inside the social place. Right. Anyway, you know where it is. The little pantry needs to be fed. It goes through its food very rapidly. People in this area need help, and so please donate what you can, non-perishable foods, to our little pantry. The bright yellow walk in awe is back today, so she will be here, I presume, on Mondays to also accept donations. And as we move forward now into this month's new theme, the theme for this month is Speaking Truth. This one took me forever. I tried to illustrate as we put it together that by speaking the truth, you set yourself free and you spread beauty wherever you go. So that's the theme that as I saw it. Now we'll turn it over to Angelica, who will lead us in the chant and then introduce our contemplative meditation.
Thank you very much. Nobody came forward with an offer to be a chant leader this month, so we're going to do the same one again. So which one do I push? The one in, oh, thanks, Marvin. Okay. Take a breath. Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Breathe into the faith of me, ah. Breathe into the faith of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the faith of me, ah. And Edward is doing our creative thought this morning, isn't he? Or our contemplative meditation. Jeez, I was back in Hawaii for a minute. He said he dressed like a country preacher this morning.
All I need is my horse.
Thank you very much.
Just did this chant to get everybody in the mood. Now you're getting them laughing.
Oh, yeah. I'm a traditional mood breaker. First of all, I want to good morning, family, first of all. And I want to thank everybody that turned out for the book signing yesterday. They said it was the most successful one that the bookstore had. And even though I had to give half the profits to the store, after expenses, we still made a profit, which half of that is going to the center. So we appreciate you. I was watching last week's service, as I do every Sunday, to get into the mood for this week. And there was something Reverend Angelica said that really resonated with me. And she was talking about our childhood and I guess other philosophies where we were told that heaven was a place where the streets were paved with gold. And in my case, we had angels sitting on clouds drinking milk and honey. In my case, if I were sitting on the cloud, it would have a little brandy in it. And so I'd probably lose my harp, fall off the cloud, and I guess that's what they call fallen angels, huh? But I was thinking about the truth as I saw the topic. And the truth is something that I realize now from other past experiences, that we share an abundance here. And the truth is that we are all spirit. Now, I was blessed with a book that was given to me by our sister Karen Jolly, one that I hadn't read. Everybody, when I say I haven't read it, they look at me like you're crazy. But it's called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Is that how you pronounce it, Gibran? And so I'd like to do like a little reading from that. Everybody but me knew it. But I'm enamored with it. Okay. It says, and a man said, speak to us of self-knowledge. And he answered, saying, your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and the nights, but your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. We would know in words that which you have always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams. And it is well you should. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and run murmuring to the sea. And the treasure of your infinite depths would be revealed to your eyes. But let there be no scales to weigh your unknown treasure. And seek not the depth of your knowledge with staff or sounding line. For self is a sea boundless and measureless. Say not, I have found the truth, but rather, I have found a truth. Say not, I have found the path of the soul. Say rather, I have met the soul walking upon my path. For the soul walks upon all paths. The soul walks not upon a line, neither does it grow like a reed. The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals.
That we share, and we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one.
We are one with the great Creator. And there is only one truth, one divine truth that inspires each and every one of us. It's the truth of spirit, the truth that we are born into this world, into this physical reality, carrying with us. It is the truth that grows and gnaws inside of our brains and our hearts as we travel this human existence, wondering this place and that, and wondering what we will do next. It's the divine guiding light that tells us the direction that our soul should follow. It's the light that we should pay heed to at all times. It is the power of the spoken word and the effects that it has on those around us. It is the power of thought. It is the power of mind. It is the power of love. It is the power of generosity, giving to those who are less fortunate than ourselves. It is seeing and not merely passing those that are houseless on the streets. It is stopping to speak to those who just need a kind word. The truth is inherent in every human being. And it is what we gravitate to whenever we hear speeches, even though some may be surrounded by untruths. It is that kernel of truth that hooks us, because we know what's true. We feel what's true. It's in our heart every day. And we feel bad when we don't follow it. The truth is God. And we are manifestations of God and that truth. And so it is.
One bread, one body, one life in all, one cup of blessing that we share. And we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one life.
As I will not see you before then, happy 4th of July to everyone. And now I'd like to welcome here our spiritual mentor and our beloved Reverend Angelica.
Thank you. That song and that piece that you read, that was a beautiful contemplative meditation this morning. Thank you very much. So I want to say happy 4th of July to everyone, too. We get to celebrate, lots of people who are in the workforce get to celebrate a 4-day holiday this year, and I'm sure that that's pretty exciting to people. I went and did a bunch of research last night on this idea about our country. You know, what is it that we're actually celebrating? And we're actually celebrating the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed. Though I read something this morning that said that the Declaration of Independence was actually signed on the 2nd. So, hey, we're celebrating on the right day, right? So here's just a little bit of history. The Declaration of Independence headed the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, is the founding document of the United States. It was adopted on July 4, 1776 by the Second Continental Congress, meeting at the Pennsylvania State House in Philadelphia, later renamed Independence Hall. The Declaration explains to the world why the 13 colonies regarded themselves as independent sovereign states no longer subject to British colonial rule. The Declaration of Independence was signed by 56 delegates to this Second Continental Congress, who came to be known as the nation's founding fathers. The 56 included delegates from New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and Providence Plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The Declaration became one of the most circulated and widely reprinted documents in the early American history. I thought it was interesting when I was looking at these 56 signers that 18 of them were merchants, excuse me, 25 of them were lawyers, 13 were plantation owners, 4 doctors, 1 military officer, 2 ministers, 3 land speculators, 3 scientists, and 1 musician. Now, if you were to add up those numbers, that would be more than 56, because many of the lawyers had other jobs as well. But I thought, wasn't that interesting? So plantation owners and merchants were the main designers of this. The youngest signer was 26 years old, and the oldest was 70, and that was Benjamin Franklin. And when you average the ages, the average age of the signers was 44. By the time that this Declaration of Independence was adopted in July 1776, The 13 colonies of Great Britain had been at war for more than a year. Relations had been deteriorating between the colonies and the mother country since 1763. England kept demanding more and more taxes and giving nothing in return, not even representation in Parliament, which to me was kind of interesting because Scotland's been going through this, not with a war though. Well, there was a war, but even still they don't have, they're considered a part of Great Britain, but they're not given any representation in Parliament at all. So these colonies originally wanted to govern themselves, which were, sounds pretty good to me. Thomas Jefferson and what were called the Gang of Five were authorized to write the Declaration of Independence, which included 3 major ideas. Now, I want to tell you that the original document was written by Thomas Jefferson with input by the other people and was revised 86 times. 86 times. Now, this is after it's been accepted as, after it was adopted in July 1776. So these 3 major ideas. One, people have certain inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. 2, all men are created equal. Today we would say all people are created equal. And 3, individuals have a civic duty to defend these rights for themselves and others. And what was also given in this document were the states were given autonomy, allowed to govern themselves, as long as they went along with the government at the top. The rest of the Declaration of Independence is all about why they wanted to be separate from Britain. And it was all, a whole litany of complaints, and valid complaints, of course. But then I found this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. from The American Dream, which was delivered July 4th, 1965 at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. He says, "No other theory is adequate to explain or comprehend the Declaration of Independence. It is the product of the spiritual insight of the people. We live in an age of science and of astounding accumulation of material things. These did not create our declaration. Our declaration created them. The things of the Spirit come first." The things of the Spirit come first. And as I was going through, I really went down the rabbit hole to look at all this stuff about our country. Some of the stuff I never knew or forgot, once having civics class, etc. But what I really got was that the United States was built on a vision. And it was built on a vision that was carried mainly by the group of 5, which included Thomas Jefferson and Adams and Benjamin Franklin and some others. But in this vision, the idea of what a glorious country could be was examined. And when we look at our country right now, we see that there seems to be a division between moving forward in that idea, that vision of what we can be, and another group that want to go back to what they think we were. And for me, as an individual living in this teaching, it's important for me to get my own clarity about it. And so many of you know that I subscribe to a lot of wonderful positive newsletters. One of them is by, oh my God, his name just went right out of my head. Who was the governor of California for a while that was also an actor and No. Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes. I have thank you. I get a newsletter by him. And yesterday's newsletter, he talked about vision, and that everyone should have a vision. And then not only should they have a vision, but they should have an action plan on how to create that vision, which then the Constitution for our country became that. And then you should celebrate it. So it's vision, action, and celebration. And I thought, wow, that's really good. That's really good. So individually, what sort of, and let me say this first. I think that this teaching is so powerful that a small group of people can make a very large effect. And I think that most of us in here have done the studies, etc., and we've learned how to manifest parking places and various things in our lives. And so now it's time to move out with it, to let ourselves use it on a grander scale. Some of you know that the Essential Ernest Holmes class, each one of them had to pick an area of the planet that they wanted to work on in treatment. And then every week they had to come back and report on the positive things that they had found out about. And it was good, really good, because so many of us want to look at the negatives. We get sucked in or hypnotized by the negatives. We're hearing the negatives all the time. Just like when I realized that over half of the Declaration of Independence was complaints about Britain. I thought, wait a minute, in my Declaration of Independence, I want to declare the positive, those things that I want to experience in my life. And I really believe that the Spirit comes first. Spirit has to come first. So I'm going to invite all of you to create a vision for what you want in your life, but then move that out into what you want for our country, maybe even what you want for our planet. And then take action, some sort of action toward that. For instance, Lori's on the third Sunday of the month is sharing with us how we can better recycle and reuse, etc. And so that's one way we can do it as a group. And each one of us, I know, can take action in some way and then celebrate the results of those actions. We have to acknowledge the actions. If I'm doing a treatment for something in my life and it comes through, I need to celebrate it. I need to acknowledge it, because otherwise it's just going to sort of float away. I had a very weird thing. I had been asking the Welcome Wellness group to treat for me because I had a really loose tooth. I chomped on a cherry and hit the pit, and my tooth just went crazy, really, really loose. And I called all over trying to find a dentist who could give me an appointment. And, August is the earliest time anybody had appointments. And so it's causing pain. And somebody said to me the other day, "You've been a little down lately." And I thought, oh yeah, it's because of my tooth. I'm always in this place with my tooth. So last Thursday night I said, I really want to treat for resolution with this tooth experience, which to me meant I wanted a cancellation to come up at the dentist so I would get it, because that's what they said, you're top of the list, right? So, okay, fine. So I really wanted this resolution. I had a dream this morning just before I woke up that I was holding my tooth in my hand. That tooth is gone. Sometime during the night, it came out. That's how loose it was. Wow. And it was on my pillow. I have these pillows all around me, So it was on that pillow. It wasn't in my hand, but it was on my pillow. And I thought, oh my God, that is so bizarre, for one thing. But I have to acknowledge that this was in a resolution to that tooth experience, wasn't it?
Put it under your pillow.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that tonight. Put that tooth under my pillow and see what the tooth fairy brings me. That'll be the celebration part. But so what we want to do for our country, what I want to do for our country, is letting go of all the things that have made me so angry over the last 8 years or whatever it's been, and knowing a higher truth. It's developed on a higher truth. And so let's move back into that place where we feel and can see results of knowing that higher truth. I believe we are that powerful. Whether it's one person or a group of people, we are that powerful. Now, do you know why I believe that? Because I know who you are. Who you are is God in form. And God is all powerful. So the power is within each one of us. So I'm inviting us to celebrate this country by making a commitment to start using this power for the higher good. Now, I want you to hear one of those final projects from the Essential Earnest class, which is definitely creating the vision. And so I'm going to invite Scott to come up. Thank you.
As Angelica had mentioned in the Essential Earnest Homes class, we all had to pick a topic, something that we wanted to affirm. And all of the topics were fantastic. My topic was, I feel a pain when I see the way people are mistreated for who they are, who they love, etc. And so the creative project I did is I created a world where that doesn't happen. And it'll take a few minutes to read through it, but I'm really honored that Angelica asked me to do this because this was actually just written for the class. Journal entry, September 28, 2064. As usual, I awoke to a world without violence, bigotry, or pollution. Sitting in my backyard, celebrating my 110th birthday, skies are clear, as they are virtually every morning. The crisp, clean, fresh air has a newness that we're told by meteorologists has not existed since the 1700s. The water and food riots of the mid-2030s have been solved, with hunger rapidly becoming a thing of the past, and overall global health is on the upswing. It's not uncommon for people to be active well into their 13th or 14th decades. As I think back on the long and happy life, I wanted to chronicle how we came from the divisiveness, hatred, and violence of the early 21st century to where we are now. In a nutshell, when what became known as the Rainbow Jim Crow laws of the mid to late 2020s targeting the LGBTQIA+ community were passed in Florida, Texas, and other southern states, the public pushed back, proclaiming "not in our name." People of good faith and common sense came together in small towns, rural areas, villages, and municipalities of every size, realizing the path society was on was dangerous and deadly. They began accepting the reality that our former lifestyles and how we treated the planet and each other were hastening our destruction and demise. From this pain and fear, what became known as the Live Openly, Value Everyone movement, affectionately known as the Love Movement, was formed. The mission of this movement was to create a paradigm shift in the manner in which people treated those not of the mainstream, the others, those outsiders who did not look like us, love like us, dress like us, or come from other places, or who came from the same places as our ancestors, whom you loved, the way you presented yourself, your religious background or lack thereof, as well as your heritage, your education, and your ancestry no longer mattered. Through education, community outreach, and compassion gatherings, we started to reaffirm the truth. As a society, we are all of one. Hope and optimism found their way to the forefront of the national mood as everyone was valued and each was respected for how they treated others, as well as what they contributed to the greater good, generating a joyful, unexpected ripple effect across the globe. Since artists were celebrated and because society no longer looked at creative people, loners, and those with different ideas as the others, the creativity and ingenuity of artists as well as entrepreneurs led to an outbreak of beautiful, practical, peaceful work and home environments. The cultural endorsement of individual originality unleashed throughout our society resulted in engineers, scientists, builders, and researchers inventing and discovering novel and helpful ideas, advancing new medicines and treatments, and cleaner, stronger, more resilient building materials. These developments could not have come if it was not for the fact that the common everyday people of all ages, locations, and philosophies, starting with the election of 2022, came together and decided enough was enough. As the love movement blossomed, Western populations began repairing their political fractures, starting in the United States under President Newsom with the overturning of the with the overturning of the Citizens United ruling of the early 2000s that allowed unlimited money to pollute our politics. The country united, especially after justice prevailed, with multiple convictions in the incarceration of those leaders that led the movement to take away democracy and rights from others in the early 20s and late teens. Trials lasted into the late 20s and early 30s. The fears of violence and riots touted by the now defunct and humiliated extreme MAGA movement never came to be. Although precautions were taken during the trials, those few zealots who showed up were greeted not only by law enforcement, but also by love squads, a new movement that formed almost simultaneously across the globe as an extension of the love movement. Symbolized by sunny, yellow, playful hearts, signs, and placards, these volunteers committed to nonviolence, peace, and inclusion show up at what are presumed to be high-tension incidents and surround these events, arms interlocked, praying and singing to protect threatened people, property, and the environment. In some cases, hug lines, as they have been called, have been as large as tens of thousands of individuals stretching for miles. Although over the years, due to the de-escalation of violence, the Love Squad has oftentimes become more of a celebratory spiritual movement at major events. When a Supreme Court ruling, Hogg versus the state of Florida in 2029, ruled in favor of further gun control, Congress, in a truly bipartisan fashion, voted almost unanimously for extensive requirements that gun owners must be checked, trained, registered, and insured. Politicians who appeared to only be interested in division and blame, their power, or scoring political points, no longer able to rely on the dark money of Citizens United, either saw the writing on the wall and left office or were voted out en masse, replaced by others who looked toward compromise and cooperation to create the greatest good. Congress then tackled a complete overhaul of the tax code, making it more equitable, which increased resources, balanced our budget, and provided the ability for anyone to have an option for health care, including mental, dental, and optical, and even child and elder care. In 2033, the 5-continent ocean rising caused by global warming flooded Shanghai, Bangkok, Miami, and Dubai, almost simultaneously wiping them off the map. To handle the millions of refugees and the huge loss of resources, major industrial countries, nonprofits, NGOs, and large corporations banded together to finally halt the destruction of our environment. For years, there had been major floods, raging fires, super tornadoes, mega hurricanes, mammoth blizzards, and pollution events that went on seemingly without end for months at a time. Trillions of dollars were almost immediately reallocated to green energy, water projects, topsoil restoration, agricultural education, and recycling programs, putting, according to some estimates, approximately 3 billion people worldwide to work at living wage jobs, cleaning the environment and raising the standard of living so high that the term third world is now without meaning. As the climate improved, so did public health, affecting how people made their living. Most employers realized the benefit of family-friendly workplaces, so employees being happier and better paid stayed at their jobs longer and advanced further. Turnover declined, incomes increased, and the living standard of hundreds of millions worldwide improved, measured by the new Personal Prosperity Index, the PPI, which took into account not only financial wealth, but happiness, health, and life satisfaction. Without the constraints of juggling health, family, and elder care, people expanded into careers and jobs they loved, allowing their entrepreneurial or artistic personalities to be unleashed, freeing up a new renaissance in medical research, travel, education, and technology. Coupled with additional funds now being allocated to these areas and an ever-improving PPI, crime dropped to levels previously unknown, and a fresh community atmosphere began spreading across the globe. An additional benefit of this new heightened consciousness and improved cooperative, cleaner world economy was that it eliminated many of the causes of war, fighting over beliefs, land, and resources. To that end, Putin was removed from office in the mid-20s by the uprising of the Peaceful Russian Freedom Coalition, the RFC, where the ZOTV movement, which is the Russian acronym for Live Openly, Value Everyone, played a leading role. Putin and his cronies in the Russian Duma were found guilty of war crimes, and after working at hard labor for 7 years and his billions of stolen dollars distributed to his victims, Putin died in prison, ashamed and insignificant, and rests in an unmarked grave. The RFC continued its outreach to Ukraine, offering reparations and help to rebuild it, attempting to heal the horror that had been visited upon them. New Russia, as it became called, and Ukraine have since developed a thriving social and economic relationship. NATO has shifted from a military to a cultural association as Europe now works in concert together with the Americas. On May 14th, 2048, on the anniversary of Israel's 100th birthday, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the European Union, and the United States led the formation of the 22nd Century Middle East Resources and Peace Coalition to address concerns about human rights, mineral usage, living conditions, religious freedom, and energy production in lesser developed parts of the world, especially in northern Africa. This, plus the fact that oil was no longer a major source of energy, replaced by solar, wind, wave, and geothermal, de-escalated the tension that had gripped that part of the world, leading to a damping down of violence in the Middle East. There's still a way to go yet for a stable Middle East, but all parties agree it is not if, but when it arrives. Our planet and its one people still face issues, but the tension, fear, and violence that were so predominant in human history have now become the exception. Despite the pain and horrors of our past and the doubt that we could do it, we have indeed evolved. We are a more peaceful, healthy, inclusive, cooperative global society where people help each other out, and because of the rebirth of cooperation, kindness, acceptance, and compassion, the biggest question remaining is, together, what will we do next?
That was really good. I've said to Scott that he should send that to the Science Mind magazine. Because it's really good. Yeah, there's probably a few of us that want a copy. So there's an example. Yours doesn't have to be 2 or 3 or 4 pages long, however long that was, but you can see what he was doing. And one of the things I realized this morning in listening to it is that it didn't happen like that, right? He gave us an opportunity to do it over the years. And, you know, I'm looking at that thinking, this is a good plan. It's a vision, and now we, you know, and you could see in his writing that people took action, and, you know, he's celebrating that by writing it. So let's all do that together. Let's go into treatment. Oh, we have an affirmation for. My heart is lifted in joy, knowing that I have the freedom and liberty to create the very best life I can imagine. And yes, we do. We have the freedom. We have the opportunity. We have the ability, the imagination to envision a world that works for everyone. And so we celebrate that this morning as we step into this Independence Day weekend. We allow ourselves to be really grateful for all that this country offers us. We allow ourselves to move in our imagination towards what a world that works for everyone looks like. We allow ourselves to know that we are free to live the life that we choose. I know that all of this is possible because of the vision of some people in the 1700s creating this country for us. I know that all of this is possible because one by one we're having a spiritual understanding that who we are is something much greater than we think we are. who we are is that one life. As Dr. Holmes said, there is only one life. That life is God's life, and that life is perfect, and that life is the life I am living right now. And so I celebrate this with every fiber of my being, knowing it for all of us, knowing that together we can work what seem like miracles. So I release these words into divine law, knowing they are so, and so it is. And now we get to have our choir.
In gratitude, I welcome these families represented here today, and we're going to push into our patriotic medley, and feel free to join us.
Yay, choir. Choir for president. Okay. I don't know who said that, but I love that. Let's move forward with the sharing of our gifts. Let's see what we got. Okay, oops, go backwards a slide, or not. There we go. We need a couple volunteers to help pass the plate. Do I have two? I got James and Marianne. Wonderful. You're outbid. You got to move quicker, faster.
Is this where we play?
You will in a moment. Okay, together we will all say, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. If you need to send a check, that's where to send it, and the band will play as the plate is passed.
Is this where we throw the money out?
Yes, go. accept these gifts donated by this congregation, we are all grateful to know that there is only one being, one source, one energy, one power that is us. It is the divine mind. It is in each of us. It is each of us. And these gifts, these donations, this generation, or this giving of love is that energy pouring out into our community, into the country, and into the world, creating that better and more wonderful world that is already existing. These contributions help for that. And for that, we are all extremely grateful and release these words into the law of mind, knowing they are already happening, and together we say with joy, and so it is. Thank you.
Throw them in the air.
What?
I said, throw the money in the air.
All right, we are, before we get to our closing song, which is actually written by Les Craig, so that for the song this month, it'll be written by Les. Donna will be leading it. But before we get to that point, do we have a volunteer who will read for us the Community Statement of Inclusion? This is your chance to get the spotlight and take it away from me finally. Please, Louise. Please, Louise.
All right. It's here, I hope.
It's right here.
Oh, okay, because I can't read that with these
Okay,
glasses.
there you
All
go.
right, here
And
we
then
go.
after you are done, Donna will take the plate.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates for people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remained learners and listeners so we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you, Louise. This song is going to be our closing song for the month of July. It was written by Les, and she is sharing it with us. And you all get to learn it today with Les and I. All the colors of the rainbow. Yes, you may stand. Here we go. All the colors of the rainbow, they are light, they are light. All the people like a rainbow, we are one. One more time and let me hear you sing it all. The colors of the rainbow, we are light, we are light. And all the people like a rainbow, we are one. Everybody comes from somewhere. We all have faces and names. We walk our walks and we talk our talks. No two of us are ever the same. And all the colors of the rainbow, we are light, we are light. And all the people like a rainbow, we are one. One more time and let me hear you sing it all. The colors of the rainbow, we are light, they are light. And all the people like the rainbow, we are one. Love pours out from the depths of your soul, and love shines down from the stars. Love is the power that makes us whole, and love is who we are. And all the colors of the rainbow, we are light, we are light. And all the people like the rainbow, we are one. One more time, let me hear you sing all the colors of the rainbow. We are light, we are light, we are light. And all the people like a rainbow, we are one. 'Cause we're part of this whole. One love, one light. All the colors of the rainbow, we are the glory of the rainbow. One soul, one mind, one love, one life. All the people like a rainbow, we are one. So it is.
Let's president.
Have a very good holiday, everyone. And Marvin brought a few snacks if anyone would like to partake of them in the social hall.